Bonjour! And today, my dear friend, we're covering the indicative pluperfect in French, which is l'indicatif plus que parfait en français. Not much to say except for the fact that it is a compound tense, and in French, the indicative mode has four compound tenses, which are, do you know them? Do you know what they are? Le passé composé, le plus que parfait, le futur antérieur, et le passé antérieur. And those tenses, well, they're easier to form because once you know how it works, you know how to conjugate the auxiliary verb, bingo! All of a sudden, so many verbs can be conjugated easily, provided that you can as well conjugate the past participle of the following verb. But the rules are not that hard, and in comparison to other tenses, compound tenses are very easy in French, or easier, let us say. And today, so the pluperfect, are you ready? Let's jump right in. This lesson is divided in two parts. The first part, we're going to learn how to form l'indicatif plus que parfait. Second part, we're going to know and learn how to use l'indicatif plus que parfait in a sentence in several examples. Part A, how to form it. Well, if you can already form the passé composé, you're not going to feel that this structure is very different from that one. Because here we're going to use the auxiliary verbs avoir ou être, but they are in the imperfect tense. So instead of j'ai chanté, which is passé composé, you're going to have j'avais chanté. J'avais choisi, group 2. J'avais répondu, group 3. And the same rules apply, of course, in order to conjugate the past participles of these verbs. You already know by now that the French language has three groups, right? ER verbs, IR verbs, RE verbs. And every time you're going to have those endings, or at least the majority of the time, it's going to be always the same for group 1. You're always going to have that E ending. Same applies to group 2, an I ending, choisi. But group 3 sometimes has a U, mostly has a U as the last letter of its past participles, verbs, but sometimes you're going to have other endings. So it's very good to know how to conjugate and how to make the past participles of the verb that you're looking for if you're encountering a group 3 verb in French. J'avais chanté, tu avais chanté, il, elle, on avait chanté. Nous avions chanté, vous aviez chanté, ils, elles avaient chanté. This is the pluperfect. This is le plus que parfait en français. And we're going to see how to translate that in English, because it is not exactly possible to translate that tense into an exact equivalent in English. And this is where you need to pay attention. During the second part of the lesson, we're going to cover the uses and how it translates from French to English. This is very important because, I have students and at times they're asking me like for an exact equivalent. They have that tense in English and they want the exact equivalent in French, or they have that sentence structure in English and they want the exact word for word translation in French. And sometimes it works, sometimes it just doesn't work at all. French and English are different languages, and of course they have similarities. And it's very interesting if you're an English speaker, a native English speaker, to learn French because there are commonalities that make the learning process easier than if you were picking up Japanese. But it's still very useful to say that you're not gonna be able to translate word for word the English language into the French language. It's all about opening our minds to realize that other civilizations have built a world out of words and structures which were different than ours, coming from our civilization. And we have the ability to absorb the prowesses of other civilizations in order to make them ours by learning a different language. But that takes a little bit of practice and a little bit of getting out of our comfort zone in terms of opening our minds to different ways to say the same thing. And it's not exactly the same. Usually there are nuances that make the French translation a bit different than the English translation. Hence, the advantage to learn different languages, to broaden our minds, broaden the spectrum of possibilities that we have to say one thing into different things. And so we covered group 1, 2, 3 here. It's always the same. J'avais, tu avais, il avait. Of course, we're using the same auxiliary verb in the imperfect tense. And then I think it's easy to notice that since we're working with auxiliary verbs here in French, you're gonna need to know two auxiliary verbs. Avoir was the first one that we covered because it's the most common, but you also have être. J'étais rentré. Tu étais rentré. Il, elle, on était rentré. We had come back. Nous étions rentrés. Vous étiez rentrés. Ils étaient rentrés. And here we have new rules, new things to take into account, because you remember that here with the auxiliary verb to be, you're going to need to agree that verb with the noun. Agree it in gender, agree it in number. And here I'm adding all those endings so that you can see that it, as opposed to with the auxiliary verb avoir, I cannot just write avions choisi with an I, because here, you know, that auxiliary verb is not going to agree in number and gender with the following past participle, but it's definitely going to happen here with the verb to be. So I'm adding an S, provided that the subjects were masculine subjects, otherwise it would have been UES. You know, if like a lot of women say we had come back, then I would have written nous étions descendus. Sorry, nous étions rentrés. Nous étions rentrés. And all of that makes for a bit more complication, I guess, but nothing out of the extraordinary. Nothing out of the ordinary. It's still manageable. There are other difficulties in French that make that one seem like a walk in the park. So I wouldn't worry too much about that, but just keep in mind that when you have the auxiliary verb être, you need to agree the past participle that follows in gender and number. So that was for the first part of the lesson. Are you with me? Now we know how to form it. We use the auxiliary verb avoir ou être. Avoir ou être. Être is going to have a past participle that agrees with the verb, and avoir not going to agree, except for the exceptions, but there is another lesson about that where the auxiliary verb avoir actually agrees the past participles that follows in some cases. But this is not within the scope of this lesson to cover that. Now, the second part of the lesson will be when and how to use it. Now that we can form it, we can cook the recipe. We have a beautiful array of utensils and ingredients in front of us, and we know how to assemble them. But now it's time to learn to whom we're going to present that food, because not everybody's going to want to eat breakfast for dinner and eat lunch at midnight. So we need to know when to use these tenses. And it all starts with the first example, past actions happening before other past actions. The example is, she had already repaired C6P1 when Ray called. Elle avait déjà réparé C6P1 when Ray, quand Ray a téléphoné. So, past actions happening before other past actions. So if you have a past action and something happens before that, it calls for the use of the pluperfect, le puisque parfait. Ray called, but that girl, you know, that genius girl you can see on the picture, she had already repaired C6P1 when Ray called, and it happened before. And that's the verb that happened before that needs to be in the pluperfect tense. Another example is actions taking place before a specific past time. And that's already it for the uses. So you see, it's not a very, very common tense, but it's quite important to know it, because in French we have the imperfect, you know, like j'étais, and then we have the passé composé. J'ai ouvert. And then you could say, I opened the bottle when someone called, you know? And you're going to have this synchronicity of two tenses. We're going to need to concord those two tenses within the same timeline so they work, so they connect together. So you have passé composé and imparfait, but then you can also have plus pluperfect, plus que parfait and imparfait. And the pluperfect tense will be happening even before the passé composé. So it's like the passé composé in the past. if we can say that. Yeah, I believe we can say that. So another example here. By early morning, she had once again managed to generate a lot of money. So, you know, that girl, she repairs robots and everything. She makes a ton of money because she's young. So she has a YouTube channel and, you know, she works with affiliation and everything. She gets checks and PayPal, PayPal money all the time because she repairs those robots all the time. And so, by early morning, she had already managed to generate a lot of money. En début de matinée, elle avait une fois de plus, once again, une fois de plus, managed, réussi to generate a lot of money, à générer beaucoup d'argent. And we have that specific past time, you know, by early morning, that's in the past, but even before that, she had generated money. She had generated even before the early morning struck. And that's the second use. So the first one was past actions happening before other past actions. Second use, actions taking place before a specific time. So you don't necessarily need to have a past tense in the sentence to warrant the use of the pluperfect. And it is good to know here there's no verb before we use that pluperfect tense. It's just a specific time in the past. And I think that now is the right time to wrap it all up, to sum it up, because we covered two things in this lesson. This is not an extremely hard tense to understand. You know, this is not the difference we have between the imperfect tense and the passé composé. This is not the passé simple, which is more subtle or less used in general, more difficult to form. Here we are having something nice because it's quite easy to form, provided that you know that we have two auxiliary verbs that can work with this tense, avoir and être. That we have three verb groups, and according to the group of verb that you have, you're gonna have different endings. Of course, the auxiliary verb être requires to agree the past participle with the subject that we have in the sentence. I haven't been smiling much in this lesson, so let's start again. No, we won't start this lesson again just with me smiling more, but what I'm saying now is that we also covered the uses, two different uses. Past actions happening before other past actions. Elle avait déjà réparé C6 PO quand Ré a téléphoné. And actions taking place before a specific time. By early morning, she had once again managed to generate a lot of money. En début de matinée, elle avait une fois de plus réussi à générer beaucoup d'argent. And now I wonder if you can differentiate the passé composé from this tense, from the pluperfect. And how am I going to find that out? Well, I invite you to click the link below this video so you can complete the exercise and find out if you can delve deeper into the topic, if you have retained something out of this lesson, something useful, so this lesson doesn't go to waste. And well, thank you for following this channel. Thank you for learning French. It is a joy and an honor to me to teach you the French language that I love from the bottom of my heart. And well, that's all for today. Thank you for following these series of videos, and click the link below the video to check if you can complete the exercise. Bye for now.